Power Rangers.
Go Power Rangers.
Go Power Rangers. Dude, I saw it last night.
Yeah. I didn't get a chance to see it. I had no time to do anything this weekend except go see one.
It's at the last time I looked, it's at like a 44%.
Seriously?
On Rotten Tomatoes. Like it's certified rotten, dude. It is getting critically panned. That being said, I fucking really enjoyed it.
Nice. Yeah,
it was really good. It's much more of a character story than it is a Power Rangers story. It spends a lot of time building up to them even getting their suits and actually becoming the Power Rangers. I mean, really, we get that in the third act.
We get a lot of backstory then.
A lot of backstory.
I mean, maybe that's why people are having problems with it.
Maybe because it's not just a typical action movie. I mean, really, there's only one big action sequence in it, and it's the third act.
Right, when they're fighting Giant Goldar or whatever.
When they're fighting Giant Goldar and Rita Repulsa. But it's very well acted. The cinematography in it is, I'm not going to say it's like incredible,
right?
But it's definitely, they took some risks that I think for me paid off more than for some others. There's a certain scene at the beginning where this guy gets in a wreck, and it's constantly doing this like 360 shot around him in the car, and just seeing all these crazy things going on around him, and the car's flipping around, but it's all from the perspective of inside the car as the camera is panning around his head. It's really weird.
That does sound weird, but it does sound like kind of a cool shot.
It's not like, it's so odd how they took such a ridiculous source material and turned it into something that is very, like, it takes itself seriously more than it doesn't. There are some of those cheesy, campy elements to it, but I would say for the majority of the movie, it takes itself very seriously. It takes the characters very seriously. And, when we got home, I put in the first Power Rangers movie.
Oh, God.
And started watching it, and it's just...
The 1996 one?
Yeah, with Ivan Ooze.
It's terrible.
Dude. Yeah, it's just terrible. And the show was pretty bad.
Yeah.
And I watched it when I was a kid and knew it was bad, but it was almost like the so bad it's good.
Right.
And for this, it's actually good. And it's weird, and all the characters have like backstory, and you have reasons to empathize with them. You know what I'm saying? They've all got their own struggles. The Red Ranger is the fucking football hero who got kicked out of football and hurt his leg, so now his future is shot. The Pink Ranger was involved in a scandal at school involving sharing nude photos of another student.
Oh shit.
Yeah. The Yellow Ranger is a lesbian and her parents fucking hate her. The Blue Ranger is autistic.
Really?
Yes. And he actually mentions it. He's like, I'm on the spectrum. And going through like the discussion thread on Reddit, a lot of people that were commenting, they were like, that's so awesome that they included an autistic character.
Yeah.
And he's one of my favorite characters in a way, is Billy, the Blue Ranger in this movie, because, he's such a, what's the word? Non-traditional type character.
Oh yeah.
They don't really show a lot of those people. The Black Ranger, lives in the trailer park. His mom's sick. So he's got things that he's going over. Zordon, you really feel for Zordon, and it shows. The movie opens with, it's thousands of years in the past. There's this big battle on Earth. The Red Ranger is crawling through this battle zone. The Yellow Ranger is about to die. Their armor peels off, and you see that they're aliens. And the Red Ranger's armor peels off, and it's fucking Zordon.
Huh.
And then Rita Repulsa's there. You don't really see her. I think you see her like leg or something. But her backstory is interesting. They definitely changed a lot as far as the backstory of Rita Repulsa.
Yeah.
Because she was, spoilers, a member of the Power Rangers. She was the Green Ranger.
Yeah.
That's why her costume is green. And so she went rogue, So then they stumble upon the coins and become the Power Rangers. But it takes itself so seriously in those scenes. Really, the only corny, cheesy stuff is Rita Repulsa by Elizabeth Banks. But even then, I've seen other reviews where they say, she was hamming it up too much and that she was too over the top. But I really don't think so. I think it really worked for me.
Nice.
In this. And, there's just some cool scenes of how they explain they train to become the Rangers, and, they have superpowers even when they're not in the armor.
Right.
Now.
We see that in the trailer.
But they're not all just like guys that hang out in school and they're part of the karate club or whatever.
Right.
You know, they're all from different walks. They never would have like hung out with each other. Like the Red Ranger is the most popular kid in school. He was the football hero. And when he shows up at the Blue Ranger's house, Billy's house, his mom's like, Jason Scott is at our front door.
Mm-hmm.
You know, what does he want with you? You know, you're the nerdy autistic kid, you know. It's all those kind of things. So that was really cool to see them do that and to take it that seriously and to put that much thought and effort into the story and into the characters. Because it's definitely an origin story.
Of course.
But man, it really fucking makes me want a sequel.
Well,
now,
did
as far
you
as
stay and watch the mid-credits?
I did.
Scene? Okay.
I did stay and watch the mid-credit scene. But as far as like the action goes, it was great. There's a scene where they finally get their armor and they go beat up on some putties in a rock quarry.
Nice.
You know. And that was awesome. But they get in the Zords and they start, you know, their Zords are like flying out or rolling out or whatever, and you hear them do the Go Power Rangers for very briefly.
Right.
And you're like, fuck yeah, this is awesome. And it's just it's like they should have made Transformers and fucking Ninja Turtles like they did this.
And you like the Ninja Turtles movie.
I liked the second one.
Yeah.
The second one was had like Bebop and Rocksteady and all that. So, you know, that's one of those things. But it was just really cool. It was really cool. There was a cameo from Tommy and Kimberly.
Nice.
The original
Pink
Pink Green
Ranger?
and White Ranger, yeah.
I have been wondering what Amy Jo Johnson has been up to for years.
She's still looking good, dude.
Nice.
But it was just very brief. They didn't say anything. They were just part of a crowd, you know?
Right.
And then, of course, the mid-credit scene, spoilers, they all met in detention, and the guy that's, like, leading detention is calling Tommy Oliver. Tommy Oliver, where's he at? And it shows this empty chair, but with, like, a green jacket over the chair or something. So, I really hope they do make a sequel to this because, you know, Power Rangers is one of those things, like I said, you know, I watched it when I was a kid, and it's always been so ridiculous. You never took it that seriously even as a kid, and to see them do it this way but still be like a little bit tongue-in-cheek is promising. And it's good. But man, I'm telling you, it's PG-13 for a reason, and I think they were really trying to appeal not just to young people but to people like my age who, you know, dude, I was like 6th or 7th grade when Power Rangers started.
Right.
So
I mean, I was like 5, but I loved that shit.
Yeah.
I saw the original Power Rangers movie in the theater. I loved it. Yeah. But I was like 8 when the original Power Rangers movie came out.
If you, just like me, if you liked Power Rangers when you were a kid, I think you'll really appreciate this because it's not just this over-the-top thing, but they do pay homage to a lot of those old things. Mm-hmm. That being said, I do have one complaint.
Oh?
No Bulk and Skull.
Oh. And I know, like, we've talked a bunch about this movie in the past 3 or 4 months, and that was one of your biggest things. Like, you always wanted there to be Bulk and Skull.
Right, no Bulk and Skull. And I didn't see anybody mentioning them at all in, like, some of the Reddit threads I read about it last night. But yeah, that's my really only complaint is that there was no Bulk and Skull. Everything else they could have changed and I would have been fine with.
So... but that's kind of your ultimate point, is that they shied away from the overt cheese of the show in favor of, you know, making these characters more realistic and grounded. Bulk and Skull were always, like, the cheesiest parts.
Right, but there was a school bully character in this movie.
Yeah.
But there wasn't 2, and one of them wasn't fat, and they weren't nicknamed Bulk and Skull.
Right.
So they could have done it. They could have done something. But overall, dude, I would totally recommend it. Not necessarily for young kids. There's some language in there and some jokes in there. I mean, the very first scene after the opening scene of Zordon getting killed or whatever, because he's not dead. But the opening scene is a story, or is like a joke about jerking off a fucking cow. And
well,
so,
alrighty then.
Yeah. So that was kind of odd to me.
So maybe don't take the 4 or 5-year-old.
Maybe don't take the 4 or 5-year-old. Maybe take the 11 or 12-year-old.
Yeah.
That's what I'd say that's probably a good age with parental guidance.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying?
And
if
that's
they're 13 and up, yeah, let them go see it.
That's what PG-13 is all about. So, like, this is what? Like, right about the perfect PG-13 level? Like, if your 10 or 11 or 12-year-old is not an asshole, you might be able to take this and go see it with them.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. All right.
All right, so you want to move on?
Sure.
All right.
I really want to see that.
Like you should.
I wanted to go when you guys went the other day.
It was I think better than it had any right to be.
That's good.
Yeah.
I'm glad.
So hopefully it does well enough that they'll get a sequel. I really do.
I really hope so as well.